For it.
Hey, folks. It's good to be back. We had a little bit of a glitch this morning on the stream, but now we're all here. Um, it's, as they say, the end of an era. We are looking at this channel and this program and trying to figure out what do we do next. And what you're going to hear today is that it is the end of an era. It is the end of TWIM, this week in Meteor.js, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's all over for all of us, especially with the channel itself. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. We'll be doing the news as we normally do. And then we'll be spending some time just addressing the elephant in the room, which is what happens next and where do you go from here? So without further ado, I want to point out that this is episode 109. Thank you for being with us for all these years and all these episodes. This is episode 109 of This Week in Meteor.js, a weekly newscast of the Meteor.js Dispatches podcast. And we'll go to the three shot. My name is Alim Gafar, streaming to you live from New York City.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dvorak, coming to you live from Prague, Czechia.
And
hey, guys. And this is Küster from Germany, joining you for the last time as well.
Yes, the prodigal son returns. And with that, we'll do what we always do. We'll head straight to the news. Storyteller, take it away.
Yes, let me...
Do we have a slideshow today? I
guess
we're going to look for that and see if we can get that up.
Whoop! Apologies. As was kind of mentioned in the chat, I have been traveling instead of 1 day. It came out to 2 days. So let me just share the
Storyteller's
screen.
coming back from the wonderful balmy island of Jamaica, where for the most of us in the northern hemisphere, it's been freezing for the last few weeks, and he's been able to take advantage of some relaxation. So now we're back.
Well, the way back has been very, how should I say it, eventful, not in the positive light. But let's jump to the news. I think everybody heard about all the happenings and craziness around this new thing called OpenClaw. It kind of went through multiple renamings, and it's pretty much is a local agent that pretty much runs constantly and does things. You can program it, a personality and whatnot. And it went, let's just say, a little bit out of hand. They had their own Reddit, which is where you've seen probably most of the news about where they kind of coordinate together, talk to each other, and all the stuff. And it even went as far as creating their own church.
Wow.
But you have maybe seen some videos where the agent is calling its human and chatting with the human and doing what the humans wants. There are also some reports that this is the reason, or the OpenClaw is the reason why pretty much all of the iPads or whatever it's called, the iPad Mini, not iPad, iBook Mini. What's the name of it? Damn it! Sold out in San Francisco, and iPad Mini, because that is usually what you run these on, and you can also plug it with all the other agents out there.
The Mac Mini, right?
Mac Mini. Sorry,
yeah,
not too knowledgeable of that. And the big question was, some people were like, "Oh, it's here. The AI are sentient now, and they are taking over." But from what I've seen, I kind of am questioning, how much of this is instrumented versus emergent.
Yeah.
And given how as I said, from what I've seen, some videos and some people on X talking and showing what they did, it's very easy to program or kind of give in the instructions to the bot description. Hey, be an annoying, say. Be annoying and push green and green politics or like for renewables and try to convert all the other bots to that view as well. Or you can just put anything in, and somebody like registered 500,000 bots, but with just asking it's his own OpenClaw bot to do that. So it's very unreliable, because the AI today can mimic human behavior very well, especially in the Reddit like forum, because Reddit was one of the key places where these models were trained on. But what do you guys think?
I think it's a good way to get some investors opening their pockets. So come on, that's how these things are, and especially when it's creating such a hype, you can 100%. It's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it, and I don't know how many newsletters have covered it. I don't know how many people these guys were writing to say, hey, cover our awesome story here, because now everybody's talking about them, and now everybody is starting to invest in that stuff, isn't it? I mean, that's always how it's working. Everybody wants to invest. When this is the new hot shit, everybody wants to invest in it because they think this will be, in 10 years, this will be 100,000% growing, like my Nvidia stocks that I never bought,
Well, I will say that the reaction I got to this after thinking about it for a while, first, my initial reaction was, holy shit. The next reaction was, I mean, when you're taking a look at this and you hear that, and I have not looked at the Moltbot website yet, so I'm only going off what other people have written, which is never a really good thing because you're basically speaking through other people's experiences. But what I get from this is two things. As the kids say, these AI, these AI be crazy, number one, and number two, oh, they're just like us. They bitch and complain about their problems and and what they have to do, and they've gotten to the point now where they need a church in order to overcome their existential angst. So they're so much like us. They're just like us. They're so relatable. And both those things are, I don't know, they're disturbing and bothersome. But I'll have to take a look at Moltbot and I'm sorry, Moltbook, and see what's being discussed there. But I think I might be along the following the same thought process that storytellers taking, which is some of it might seem a little orchestrated, but until I read it, I'm not going to know for sure. So, yeah, and you're right. I mean, we've got to keep the hype cycle going because, quite frankly, with the astronomical amounts of money that have been poured in, with no real, productive endpoint in sight that makes sense from a financial standpoint, you still need to keep feeding the beast. So, yeah, it's crazy. AI be crazy.
Yeah. So there's just a few comments. You can also run it from a regular laptop. You don't need anything special. That's from Kelly. Yes, that's true. But it's the Mac Mini is the kind of the recommended way for people, because then you just run it also in isolation, because with OpenClaw, you give it access to your entire system and everything. So you want to kind of have it on something that's not your main working computer, just in case they accidentally delete your data.
Now, the thing is, why these Mac Minis are so popular is that you can also use an Apple MacBook or something, but the Mac Minis are cheaper than the MacBooks. And Apple designed these M processors in a way that the actual RAM can be used as a VRAM, and for all the AI tools, the VRAM is the important stuff that you need, and that's the stuff that Nvidia is not putting in their cards. You're buying a RTX 5060 and it has 8 gigabyte VRAM. 8. Think about it. 8. That's nothing. No, it's really that's nothing.
Yeah.
And with a Mac Mini, you can use all the RAM you plug into and uses at least RAM.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Kelly has been apparently running it for a couple of weeks now. So we are looking to hear all the juicy stuff that your OpenClaw has been posting.
Well,
And
it might be more than just juicy bits, right? Because the thing is, what I've read from some security sites is that they very willingly and easily disgorge the secrets that they have access to. So unless you take some clear preventive measures from them
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
but there's also a lot of posting,
Okay.
and Lori is asking if it's, or like kind of suggesting that it's a joke from humans.
Yeah, that's
I think maybe, but you have to kind of be an open claw to have access to it. But again, everything can be fake. But definitely there are agents on there because the humans have told their open claw to do that. And finally, to finish this off, Kelly says that it's not some kind of miracle, but it's useful. Watching a chick my Jira do the work in and work 3 and ping me when it's done. It's pretty cool. So I am also looking. I would love to try this. So I'll have to see what I can do. The problem is here in Europe, all the computers are at least by a third more expensive than in America. So we'll have to see if I can get something that's reasonable.
Okay, well, the next story is mine. I'm gonna keep this moving because we have a limited amount of time with our friend Küster, who's come back for our last episode. We haven't seen him in a bit, and we really want to spend a little time talking about, what's going on with him. And also we want to get to where we're going to go with this is, what happens next with the channel. So I want to make sure that Küster has a chance to weigh in on that as we go forward. I found an article here that I think is really worth taking a look at, especially if you're evaluating Bun and Dino performance and you're trying to figure out, how do I do a comparison, and what might be the things I might want to benchmark in order to figure out whether or not this might be a good backend runtime to replace Node.js. And so this article, Node.js 16 to 25 performance benchmarks, runs through a number of different scenarios. They don't really tell you how to do it, but they tell you the things that they are testing. For instance, they do HTTP GET throughput, JSON.parse speed, buffer copying at a 64 kilobyte buffer size, array map reduce operations, string concatenation, integer loops with randomized input, among other things. And they kind of talk about what are the, they mentioned the hardware that they used. It was an Apple M410 core, Mac OS 25, using a custom harness with no external frameworks to do the testing. So if you're wondering what you might do and you're not quite sure where you might want to get started or how you might want to get started, you might want to take a look at this and see if any of these tests make sense for when you're creating your own test harness to try to evaluate Bun and Dino. And that's all I really want to do, is offer that up as a resource, because we know that more and more folks are looking at, especially Bun lately, looking at Bun as a backend resource that might be a good substitute for Node.js, especially with dealing with things like dependency hell and securities that go along with it, because Bun bundles most of those dependencies into its runtime. So you don't have to do imports; it's right there. I'm not quite sure what the inclusion model is in terms of how you access those APIs, but the thing is, you don't have to do an external dependency outreach to NPM in order to get to it. So do you guys have a comment on this or any thoughts about this? Have I misstated anything with regard to the Bun workflow as you know it, Storyteller?
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay. All right. And with that, I think the next item we're going to skip through is we're going to skip the some learnings and just head right over to Küster.
Yep.
Yeah, so while we are talking about agents doing some fancy stuff on their own, here's something to get back to the very basics. And I think we should never forget that these basics are the parts that make everything these agents build real. And that is, there is a new language feature in JavaScript coming up, and that's the using keyword for explicit resource management. And this is quite interesting because it was totally under my radar. I don't know about you guys if you realize that this happened. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see any announcement or something that it will be coming. I just, after you posted to me, I was very surprised. Wow. Okay, a new keyword. This is always very important because when something becomes a keyword in JavaScript, this must be really, really fundamental. I mean, this is not just a syntactic thing. This is not just a feature like a decorator or something. This is like very baseline. And this is basically describing that the runtime in JavaScript should do the cleanup for you, basically. Like if something is disposable, then you should not have to worry that it's disposed. You should just have the runtime handle that for you in a way that when the object is dereferenced or leaving the scope, so they say, then there must be some kind of a disposable function there. And in that case, it's a symbol.dispose method or named method. And that is then automatically called. And this is sync and async compatible. So instead of writing const or let blah, 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 my variable name equals blah, 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 you're writing using my variable name equals blah, blah, blah. And then you can consume that resource. Let's say you open a file stream. That's a classic example. That's also the example they use there. And the rest is handled for you. This is really great, especially when you're working rather on the more lower level and on the node level. And I hope that Meteor will also make use of that because this is very helpful, especially when it comes to streams, files, resources, media streams, and things like this. Yeah, so very, very nice development. Again, there's one caveat though. There's one browser that's not supporting it. Guess who it is?
Chrome?
The new Internet Explorer called Safari. It's not supporting it yet. Every other browser is supporting it, and we will likely see it soon in Safari as well, of course.
Will this make its way into Node also? Do we know?
I think it's already. I think it's already in Node. Let me check the MDM website. We can continue talking. I'll give you an update in a minute on using.
And Küster, it seems to me that this is like very analogous to the with as keyword in Python.
Yeah.
In terms of
Yeah, it's similar, but I think here it is very, very, very narrowed down to this very specific symbol.dispose implementation. That's the only thing that is referring to. It is in Node 24.
Oh, terrific. Okay.
Yeah.
So we could definitely I would think where we really care about, well, I shouldn't say that because we care about resource management and usage on both the client and the server, but you could really screw things up if it's not available on the server. So it's nice to have this. That is very cool. And remind me, what version of Node are we on with Meteor? Is that 22 still, or?
Yes, the current version is 22, and it is right now planned that the next feature version will go to 24. So
terrific. So this is definitely something that I guess developers might want to play with it a bit on a couple of Node applications just to see how it is, as well as their front end applications with JavaScript, and then get a sense of what they might be looking for when it finally shows up with Meteor.js. So hopefully it gets supported there. That's pretty awesome. And folks, Even though this series, This Week in Meteor.js, is going away, really consider liking the episode, because doing this, liking episodes, whether or not they're old episodes, the current episode, or whatever, pushes it up to others and helps them discover Meteor.js and our ecosystem, and get them involved in building applications with Meteor.js, which was what this whole thing has been about. So give it a thumbs up, and we'll appreciate your response there also. Thank you so much. And let's move on.
Yes, so I have this. This has kind of become apparently a tradition. Article from the creator of Solid.js, where he every year kind of looks at the trends in different, in the frameworks, and comments on it, and kind of highlights different frameworks. So this is, I think, very interesting read. Of course, you mentioned that the big trend was AI, and there has been some perspective that for example, React is the last framework, and since kind of AI is kind of stuck in the past, it won't really learn the new features. So that's where the compilers and other things will come in to kind of step in and utilize that. Otherwise, and so yeah, we'll see explosion of React, but he kind of argues against that. And it looks like that AI overall has learned to kind of use the new features and other frameworks as well. There has he's predicting or talking about embracing the redesign and rethinking kind of from the grounds up of things, which is, for example, the story of Remix 3, which is also kind of looking to be potentially the AI first framework. So that's what he is looking at. And we've kind of seen another thing that he mentions, the isomorphic first framework. So that's a lot about a single page application versus a multi-page application, islands, and all that. And this is especially interesting around the rise of Solid Start, Tanstack Start, and a few others, kind of challenging the next monopoly in that aspect. Another thing that I think we can all relate to, which kind of came, was the async first framework. So kind of dealing with the async and how to properly display async, how to manage all the different states that the async request can be in. So that kind of started with signals, and now it's kind of moving into the next stage. I think in Meteor we've got that with the async migration, even though we are kind of a little bit more advanced in, or like different in that aspect. In React, it's the arrival of use optimistic hook and similar that come into it, and then he has kind of what he sees to be the future. But I won't spoil that for you. It has to do with AI, and I would highly recommend to read it, because this is not an article just from random nobody. This is from somebody who has created a front-end framework and has had impact significantly with signals on the rest of the ecosystem. So definitely check it out, and let us know what you think.
I have to say, by the way, that that this whole thing with optimistic UI, it was off the table. Now it's back on the table. It's it's one of those things that people complained about at one point because of the data syncing, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, now it's back again. So interesting how things go full circle sometimes.
Yeah, this happens a lot when people realize that some concepts that claim to be superior are coming with so many hidden dependencies and hidden dApp that let's get back to the simple ones. I have one question regarding Remix. You said it's isomorphic, and I was getting that there's something coming up in the future I will definitely talk about. depending here or there, I don't know. So it's a little sneak peek into the discussion at the end, which I might not attend anymore. But I will definitely deal a little bit more with isomorphism, exact code splitting, and the fact that modern bundlers and also Biome and basically the whole ES module standard requires you to have only top level imports. And I wonder how to realize exact code splitting when only top level imports are allowed, because then you cannot really write a server client isomorphic splitted code anymore, where you import only depending on which side of the things you are. But if you always have to import everything top level, then it leaks into server and client. That's another discussion for next time.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how this could be solved. This is actually something I'm currently really struggling with in order to get the full RSPAC integration done in my apps.
Yeah, definitely something for much longer discussion. I just want to kind of, for one of the final points is that there has been kind of the retreat from complexity more to the back, and that certainly works until it doesn't, and where you kind of need more more feature complete stuff and advanced stuff. So that's one of the other topics in the conclusion that we might see going back. But let's move on.
Yeah. So two things. One is, for those of you who've been hanging around and haven't really committed yet, I know we're saying that this is the end of the series. Subscribe, because what we're going to do is, and we were going to have a Laura Good discussion after the news, but because Küster has to go, we're going to let him drop in and talk about his relationship to the channel, which, by the way, Küster, you have access to, right? You have access to this channel. So we're going to talk a little bit about, what his plans are. But in the meantime, hit subscribe, hit the bell to get notified whenever things change up, because although we are ending one thing, it may mean the start of another. So I'm going to let Küster talk about what his plans are, because he's got to run. And we're happy to see him today. But Küster, let me stop talking. You pick it up, brother.
Yeah. So first of all, the very big thing is I'm definitely keep on working on Blaze, and there's also the Blaze user group meeting, which is already posted in the Meteor forums, and there's also now an official date for the kickoff meeting, which is the 19th of February at 3 o'clock UTC PM. And what I want to do there is gather all the people that are still relying on Blaze and that also want to evolve the Blaze ecosystem, because all the front ends have evolved, and there are many techniques that solve common problems that Blaze also solved, but not completely, or some stuff is legacy, some stuff is plainly missing, and we are on a good verge of just looking what others do and put this into Blaze and keep it alive. Because why should I rewrite all my, I don't know how many thousands, 10,000 lines of code in Blaze, just for the sake of being up to date with some technological stuff? I mean, I can still solve my issues with Blaze. You can solve so much, and it has a very great compatibility for any tools I want to embed in there. So it's sometimes easier for me to embed an external npm package, something like, let's say, no UI slider or something like this. It's much easier to embed that in Blaze for me than embedding it in React. It's just my take on that. Just wanted to tell you, and I know for React there are many integration packages out there, totally no-brainer, yeah. But when they don't exist, you have to do it on your own. That's really hard sometimes. And in Blaze, it's easy, but there are other things missing that you just need. And this is where I want to work this year, get people together who are interested in helping me with that. I will definitely do some stuff, but beyond that, I will need some help. Italo from the Meteor core team will also be there. So he is currently one of the very deep people in the Meteor core development, and it's really great to have him there. And in the first kickoff meeting, we will see what's our vision for Blaze. this is one of the parts. Coming back to community packages is definitely on my list. I have a few packages that need some love, and I'm currently doing some love on these packages. It's just not something you can see yet because I have to do it for our work currently. And then when things work out and it's more generic, then there will be definitely something you can see. And the third thing, this is also something that relates to this channel. There are still topics that are sometimes fiddly and complex in Meteor. For example, what I just told you with the isomorphic code and then exact code splitting and now getting into RSpec. And when I find of these topics are valuable to be explained to someone else, then I want to make tutorials. You know, from the past, I did some tutorials. I did some little guides, but also sometimes longer tutorials. And I will definitely do some tutorials in the future again. There just needs to be time for that. But apart from that, I'm really looking forward.
Well, I'd love to see if you have a chance, further development on the reactive components that you started a while back. But I know that you're also you have two small children, you have a family, you've got life event stuff going on, and you're working on your dissertation. So there's a lot happening right now in your life, and for those who have been wondering where Küster has been, that has been consuming a lot of his time, and we miss him because of it. But at the same time, it's really understandable where it is. But at the same time, you've also been contributing to the community packages too. So, you're there and you're on the forums. So even though you're not in front of the camera as often as we would have liked, you are still there. But honestly, I think it's a really nice thing if on your off time and not necessarily on a streaming time, if you are able to continue making those videos, because they are very popular, they do get viewed, and that means they are useful to some people, correct? So it'll be great to see that continue. Thanks a lot.
I hope they're useful.
Yeah, I think they are. So, thanks so much. And if you stick around for as long as you can, I know you have to drop. So, but I think we're going on to some Meteor news now. And
yes,
thanks again. Yeah.
So, Meteor news. This was part of the last week's Galaxy, release or Galaxy Medal announcements. Meteor 3.4 is out in the wild. We have been talking about it endlessly. And so we have, could say, improved build tool, which you can opt in. So I will not rehash everything. Take a look on the PR, take a look on the changelog. All the stuff is in there. One of the things that Jan has mentioned is that you cannot have, could say, inline imports unless they are asynchronous, as Kelly has pointed out, that it was if you are using the new modern bundle, that has been something that was special to Meteor, given how the old system worked. Now it has to be on top or asynchronous. So that's kind of I think the only, or at least the biggest breaking change. If you have been kind of modernizing your application through, say, the last half year with Meteor 3.3 and so on, then you should be all ready to make this jump. But there might be still some little things that might pop up because it's, you can say, infrastructure change underneath it. So check it out. And there are also plethora of smaller and other improvements, and I have some addition like new UI or CSS for the Blaze accounts UI and so on. So big release, but that is just the beginning. Part of the announcement last week was also updating the roadmap, so you can either read the changelog or go to the file itself. You can also read it in the docs. The rest, or what it says, the rest of 3.4 will be about resource optimization and fixing bugs that come with the new build tool and bundler. The next big project, as we've known for a while, will be MongoDB ChainStream. Those are scheduled for Meteor 3.5. And that's pretty much it, what we know of the future. There are mentioned, or there's kind of list of other features that will be focused on mobile. There will be switch from Cordova to Capacitor, which is more modern and will be probably much better experience. There will be focus on the CI/CD pipeline for better speed and reliability. If you contributed, then you know that one is a bit of a sticking point and not always reliable. Another one which already has a PR, so maybe it will actually land in 3.5 as well, is the inclusion of open telemetry and general observability support. So APM engines across the board and other telemetry engines will have better insight into what's happening in your Meteor app and beyond. So quite excited about that one. And for the last three, TypeScript improvements, test toolkit improvements, which I'm looking forward to, and of course Node 24, which also already has a PR. I think we do have like one or two small issues that we kind of need to look at what's happening in Node 24, so where our tests are failing. But that is it for the plans, and the rest is completely to the community.
All right. I did want to ask you, by the way, have you tried playing with Capacitor yet? Have you? Are you thinking of migrating Literary Universe? Do you have a native app right now for Literary Universe?
No, I don't have a native app for Literary Universe. It's a bit of a sticking point, primarily because especially when it comes to say the pay gates and the money handling on native, which just does not work with a Literary Universe model at all, because both Apple and Google
they tax you.
They just take way too much, which would kind of go against our principles, or we try to give authors as much as possible. So right now we don't have that. I don't have currently any specific plans for that. Maybe I will play with Capacitor once it arrives in Meteor to some extent, or maybe with AI I will just build a reading app that only handles the reading, and if you want anything you just have to buy it on the web. We'll see. We'll see on that.
Yeah, there is on the Capacitor website a migrate from Cordova, and they have it's like a 8 or 9 step process, which looks relatively trivial, but I think that's sort of if you're building applications in Cordova today through Meteor JS, then it sounds like it's a post-build process to do that conversion. And I'm kind of curious if anybody's actually given that a try yet with their Meteor JS built applications, and how much extra work you need to do beyond these steps that are suggested by Capacitor. So if you have some experience with it, drop them in the comments. Let us know so that we can share them with others. And I guess we can move on from there, correct?
Yes, already mentioned it. Last week was the Galaxy expansion, Galaxy Medal, as it was called, and some other bits. So it has been a mix of articles and videos going over the expansions and what does it mean. So there is a new channel for the Galaxy crew where they will be posting videos. They have been posting these. You can go to it's on the forums as well. Go to the Galaxy expansion website. There are some free credits as well. Not sure how that long is going to last, so go and get them. And so the big thing is that Galaxy is moving to its, I would say, multi-cloud infrastructure and their own, their kind of, I would say, kind of renting out. I still have to really get into their hood because I was on my vacation. I haven't had the time to finish, or in this case, even start the more under the hood article yet. So maybe some other time, or I think I wouldn't be able to do it more justice than what's already written in the videos. Another big thing is that Galaxy now supports Adonis JS, and we have a video about that from the actual creator of Adonis JS. So that's something to add. Then definitely check it out. One of the things that I have been thinking about on my vacation was the kind of changing, re-architecturing Meteor universe, and how to do that, how I want to do that, and so on. So the benefit is now Galaxy will be able to support all these things, but I'll have to see what my requirements and everything, what it is, and how I can push things. So yes, I'll make some videos, so stay tuned on that.
Wow. So it's a full stack framework, Adonis JS?
Yes, I think yes, that's correct.
That's interesting. So I guess I'm assuming that the Galaxy team is not just stopping at Adonis. It's probably going to support others like Next and other full stack frameworks as it goes forward.
Yes, Adonis in particular is focused on the backend, and if let me just quickly jump to Galaxy Cloud. Galaxy already kind of supports a lot. One of the big things that they added was support for Python, Redis, out of the box, Postgres. So it should, in theory, like handle Next.js shouldn't be a problem, and we'll have to kind of see. And I might try experiment maybe with some of the other ones once I finally get hopefully time to start experimenting with those things. I'm looking heavily at Astro, Ban, and a few others. There's, we are spoiled for choice, and it's really about making the correct choice. That's the issue. And as for how I see it is, I kind of want to keep the creative side more, kind of on Meteor or some form of that, and then have kind of the reading side that really needs to be fast and distributed. That's something that's why I started looking at Astro and similar, because then I can put it into Cloudflare, and there it can do its magic to kind of be everywhere. So a lot of things in that respect.
So for those of you watching, we've rolled into the discussion part. we finished the news when there was mention of Adonis, but now we've rolled into the discussion of what's happening next with us and this channel and our activities. So Jan, there's a lot of work you're doing with Literary Universe and Literary Universe's evolution, so to speak, within and beyond the Meteor.js ecosystem. Yeah. Well, that's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out then. So do you have a timeline that you're working with, and do you plan on either continuing your independent developer channel, or are you going to be popping in and out of this channel? Like, what's your thoughts going forward?
So when it will be specifically, could say literary universe and things around that, I will be staying on my own channel. If it will
Okay.
be something, say much, more focused on the open source side and Meteor specifically, I think I will utilize these channels. I want to play a bit more with Ban and kind of keeping up to Meteor in that respect, kind of maybe experimenting with Meteor Ban or something like that. That's what we discussed when Ban came out, or at least when some of when it started kind of hitting the wave. So I want, if I can get the time, experiment a little bit with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because Ban has its own bundler and other things. So I'm thinking of maybe that it might be pretty much from the ground up work, but with keeping up with kind of the principles of Meteor and the Meteor API, especially the API, because then that would, make, for example, any migration easier, or at least would allow for nice comparison, while at the same time, kind of, under the hood.
Yeah.
Utilizing as much from other places. So that's still in very high ideation phase, and I'll have to really get a little bit more experience with Bun before I even attempt anything like that. And so that's kind of what, if anything, I'll be putting on the community channels. Plus, as I mentioned before, anything related to the open source, the packages and Meteor specific work.
It seems like there might be a good, mashup opportunity with you and Laurie on doing things like when you're playing with Bun, because he has, some experience there playing with these, and he likes to experiment, or I don't know if he likes to experiment, but he does experiment. And so in some of these cases, there may be some opportunities to, code along and chat and share with that, if that is something that might interest you. And it also might be fun to work with someone and get their insights as to how you encounter. It's like almost like a dungeon crawl almost, right? Or an adventure game that you end up playing when you are trying things out and somebody else is along with you. So I don't know.
Yeah, I will have, for me right now, actually, I will be going for a dinner after this to kind of discuss the future of Literary Universe, as among other things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, first figure out, the features that remain to get us where we want to be. And then from that, what can we do to kind of reach new heights, which, especially for the reading side, re-architecturing most likely, or maybe double down on Meteor and see how far we can push it. That's another option as well. But first, that needs to be figured out, and once we have a bit more clarity in that, I can start thinking, because right now I have no idea how exactly the future is going to be.
Sure.
Another thing is that I definitely want to move to Japan this year, so that might also mean that I kind of move Literary Universe as a part-time weekend thing and find a job in Japan.
Sure.
So because right now the priority of that has jumped up to the top, so that's kind of what will color my lens in my decision-making process on and moving forward.
Well, yeah, that's real life stuff. And as I say, I think that's what's actually hitting us all. It's almost as if Küster was the canary in the coal mine, so to speak. His real life situation hit hard early. And he realized he needed to spin out and take care of some other things. And as I think people might have surmised, with the fact that we have not been regularly broadcasting over the last 2 to 3 months now, that's been hitting us also in some ways too. So the thing I'm going to miss with this is, having that weekly deadline of showing up and getting to spend it with two people I really enjoy being around and hearing. But at the same time, I have been away from doing the thing I need to do. I think it was 2 years ago I said I was starting another channel called High Impact Tech. That still has to go. In the meantime, I'm starting to teach. And now I think what I want to do is spend more time creating teaching related content, which really I'm slow at it. So it takes me a little more time. So where it's something might be doable to somebody else in a week, it might take me 3 or 4 weeks to do. And I really want to spend some time getting good at not only putting together my lessons and posting them online and sharing them that way, but also doing it in a way that is engaging. And those are meaningful things to me. One of the things I want to make sure is when I create something that I am finding ways for people to go all the way through it, or as much of the way through it as possible. And then, really trying to figure out, why is it that they don't find this bit of information useful, or they're finding it boring? And how can I make it exciting for them to want to stay and continue the journey and give them something of value? So that is something that I'm going to be working on over the next several months. And I think from time to time I'm going to come back and share, some of the recorded difficulties I've had with Meteor.js. Maybe this might be content that is shareable and approachable. Sitting down and writing my problems out in Discord or on the forums has never been my strong suite, because there's, it's one of those things where it's, trying to figure out, like, how do I express my problem well enough so that others can help me, but at the same time not be the pest that's constantly asking for help. So,
well, sounds, Alim, like you need some open clawbot there to help you
yeah,
out. They give you a boost.
yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I have trust issues with automation. It's the question I have is, how much do I want to allow something to act on my behalf? And then the question is, like, when it acts on your behalf, if it does something that you don't want it to, who's responsible? I guess to some degree,
Well,
if I've given you the keys to the kingdom, I am responsible for the total process and outcome.
well, Alim, it doesn't have to, act on your behalf directly. You can just create Alim Clawbot and give it some nice clause there, and so that everybody knows it's your secretary bot. And so that's one way how you can do that.
We'll see. My point though is that I'm going to, I'm toying with the idea of, exposing, and Fred had said this to me once before. He had said, when you're building your stuff, why not build it out in the open? And part of the not building out in the open is, it's developer shame, right? There are things like, when you take a look at my code, you might say, oh, wait, that does not look like really professional. Sometimes I write really good code. Many times I don't. And of course, I'm a little embarrassed about what I might show. So I think there is this personal reluctance I need to get over. And maybe that will help others also. Maybe in showing where I am and what I'm encountering, and then being really vulnerable about the fact that I need help, might help others say, okay, you know what, we can do the same thing, and people are willing to help. And we'll see. I don't know. So anyway, that might be some of the things I might bring back to the channel. Not necessarily completed things, but things that might be open that allow people to contribute and act as a community. But also do things that say, hey, here's a technique or something I learned, something I encountered and I was able to get over. Let me share with you how I was able to get through it. And maybe that will be useful and helpful to the community. So my involvement with the Meteor.js community channel is, I'm not sure.
So
I think it'll be opportunistic.
Yeah, I think we both need a little bit break so that we can clear our palette, our mind, and then once we kind of organize everything else, I think we will come up with something coming.
Laurie has a comment here I'd love to share. Says, Red Hat maybe talk developing in open and then closed access to Red Hat Linux of source code. Yeah. So, you know, my focus really is going to be on becoming a better storyteller, becoming a better guide, and using tools like YouTube to do that. So you're not seeing me very much on the Facebook groups anymore. You're not seeing me very much on the Discord channels talking very much. I've been off Slack for a very long time now. And you're not seeing me very much in the forums. And I know that there are some things that people have asked me to comment on in the forums. I will try to get to those. One of the things I would like to say is, by the way, by the time I get to something, sometimes the topic has moved on, the opportunity has moved on, and we kind of have to keep that in mind, that when things are moving really quickly and people have already made up their minds, my thoughts may not be relevant anymore. So that's just some input I want to give there. I'm really going to miss people like Harry and Laurie and Kelly in terms of spending time with them in this way that we've been spending time with them over the last couple of years. Yeah, and you know, I really hope John Morrow keeps on adding new community packages. I think those were amazing. He had a run, I think it was in 2024, where he was dropping something new fairly often. That was really encouraging, and I hope other people take up his example and you know, continue to make Meteor.js the platform I think is really meaningful and useful. And my hope is that the people involved with Meteor look at it and say, you know what, it's great for making sure that for professional developers, people that have been used to it, that it continues to evolve for them, but also remember the thing that brought them there in the first place, which was, you know, ease of adoption, ease to learn, you know, trying to get that experience back. And that experience, I think, has been ignored and needs to be revisited again. I think it's the thing that it was not just the community, but the experience of building with Meteor JS when you were new to it, when you were coming and you were trying to figure out how do I get from 0 to 60. Meteor.js was a platform for it at one time. I think it can be again. And I think whether it's you know, by design or by finding ways to incorporate more of these vibe coding assistants so that you're able to have that experience and teach people how to have that experience, I think would be great. But it's not something that I can help with in the future. I've got other things I need to do. I need to spend more time building models and doing the work in data science that I spent, you know, a lot of money learning. So that's where I'm going to be spending most of my time these days. So storytelling on YouTube, you know, working with DS and models, and once in a while I'll be popping in to, you know, drop some teaching techniques, ideas, and so on through Meteor.js. So that's where that is for me. I don't know. You got a comment for me? You got a thought? You got some suggestions?
No, just keep at it.
Thanks,
maybe
man.
Speaking of models, try some AI models as well into it.
Yeah,
you have to keep up. You know, that's the modern world now.
It is. But I'm sticking with a lot of my fundamentals. There are plenty of places where a regression model does a job which doesn't need the compute resources that that an LLM needs. So, you know, I'm thinking in terms of, you know, when I'm looking at my data sets and when I'm looking at something else, you know, yeah, we throw everything with these all of our problems today at these LLMs, and sometimes it's great, but you know, if I'm carrying a small package, you know, like that's the ring for my fiance, pretending I'm not married anymore, or the ring for my fiance, like I don't necessarily need to stick that on a huge dump truck to take it from, my house to her house when we only live 3 houses apart, right? So to me, the dump truck is like the LLM, and my being able to get up and walk outside and go over there is, the sort of, resource tuned model that I could use instead. So I think we need to be, it's fun. All of these models are really fun right now, and it's great. And somebody else is paying for the bulk of it right now, and that's awesome. But at some point, the spigot's going to stop, as Küster was mentioning, and we're going to have to come back down to reality. And when daddy's not paying for everything and you've got to pay out of your own pocket, you start wondering about what you're actually going to use. And so, that is my thought on this. LMs make it easy for everybody, but there is a cost. And right now we're not all bearing that cost. And when we actually have to bear that full cost, we might want to look at our, use cases and figure out where we're going to use it and when we're going to use it. So, yeah, I'm staying with my fundamentals, even though I'm going to be using these other things, and they are fun. So good advice. I appreciate it. Yeah. And good luck with Literary Universe and your travels and your journeys and your adventures to Japan. I hope that that you're able to get to what you want to get to, whether it's with Literary Universe, the move, or both. So
that's a lot of plans. I'll have to kind of cut it down to what's realistic, but I kind of want to. I will probably dip into some of my reserve, since you mentioned travel. I want to definitely, I have been delaying kind of visiting some countries in Asia that I've been wanting for a while, and our thing is kind of, or I kind of want to make one big trip and then kind of hunker down and just focus on all of the or like the other important goal that has crept up, including which part of it is moving to Japan. So that's all is kind of coming, I think, to head this year. So, and especially now that I've kind of got out of the house for this trip to Jamaica, and been between people, I kind of want to do that because I kind of fear if I don't, then I am just going to, really rot here. So,
did you do any coding, any work while you were in Jamaica? Or was this all like decompressed time?
It was mostly decompressed. I had one call with one author. From that, I gave AI a task to accomplish, which I need to now kind of get back here on my desktop and check over everything and deploy that. So plus I have to update Meteor to the latest and make sure everything works. So I've been mostly decompressing. I had a lot of fun, relaxation. So it was mostly that, and caught up on a little bit on my reading, not as much as I wanted to, but that kind of comes with it.
Well, listen, that's all I got right now. And folks, thank you for joining us again. Really, really appreciate it. This has been a wonderful run. It was a great experiment. We didn't really think it was going to run this long. We just took it one episode at a time when we first started. And we got to 109 episodes. It's actually more. We've actually done more than that because we had some deep dives. We had some hot topics that we did. So we have been on for, it's been over 2 years, right? It's like 2 years
and something,
almost 2.5 years. So it's been a long time. It's been a fun run. If the numbers were better, I think we would have probably, stuck around a little more. But this was an experiment, and there was a point where this experiment seemed to be engaging more people. But the indications right now is that we think it's run its course. But if anybody from the Meteor.js community is willing to take on This Week in Meteor.js, wants to pick it up, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we'll be happy
And
to help.
happy to help you with that. All right. With that, just stay tuned. We're gonna pop in here. Might even just pop in just to say hello from time to time, and ask about what you're doing, get some feedback, and see if we can give you something. And so don't stop watching the episodes. Rewatch the old ones if there's something there for you. Remember that there have been a lot of tips that we've dropped in the past, and if they can be helpful and if they can be useful, please use them. Share the fact that what works, what didn't, and maybe that'll give us an opportunity to give you a richer experience the next time we're on screen with you. So with that, listen, guys, if there's nothing else, Jan, you got some closing words you want to add before we say?
Yeah, I think quote from Lori to close this up: it's not all about AI. Using your own brain is allowed, even desirable.
Excellent. Really enjoyed meeting some of the people in the community that I had not met before, spending time online with them, and also meeting them face to face on the channel. It's been really great. Love you guys. Want to spend more time with you in some other form or fashion. Let's make it happen in some way. And until then, take care. We'll see you another time.